Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. It's just after 3 p.m. on November 3rd, 2023. Welcome newcomers and welcome back to the channel for all you guys who've already been subscribed. Just remember that I am no longer receiving notifications when newcomers subscribe to the channel. So, please forgive me for not mentioning you guys. But I appreciate everybody, and please remember to hit the thumbs up. It not only helps get the message out there, it combats the censorship and the cyber stalkers. And we do have a couple, including perpetrator neighbors, that automatically downvote the video. But let's get into it. Okay, first, well, this is Senator Rand Paul. He wrote a book called Government Bullies. It's not precisely what you think. He considers a lot of government agencies bullies, and he provides the lawsuits to prove it. I'll read something from this book in a minute. But I wanted to thank a subscriber for sending me a lawsuit that was recently won just a couple of days ago. Home sellers win $1.8 billion, not million, billion dollars after jury finds conspiracy among realtors. That's right, folks. Realtors. You know, those ones that charge 5 and 6% of the total sales of your facility, your home. The influential National Association of Realtors, which is NAR, and several brokerages were ordered to pay damages to home sellers who said they were forced to pay excessive fees to real estate agents. Yeah, I paid what I considered to be an excessive fee in New Jersey. I had to pay the buyers and sellers commission, and most people do. You don't really realize it. I will never pay another buyer's commission. A federal jury ruled on this past Tuesday. The powerful National Association of Realtors and several large brokerages had conspired to artificially inflate the commissions paid to real estate agents, a decision that could radically alter the home buying process in the United States. The Realtors group and brokerages were ordered to pay damages of nearly $1.8 billion. The verdict allows the court to issue treble damages, which means they could swell to more than $5 billion. Treble damages is 3 times the amount of the award. It is a decision that has the potential to rewrite the entire structure of the real estate industry in the United States, lowering the cost of moving homes by reducing commissions. Under the NAR rule, a home seller is required to pay commissions to the agent representing the buyer, which sellers claim forced them to pay excessive fees to the agents. That's right. And sometimes, folks, just aside, sometimes the agent that's selling is also claiming to be the buyer's agent. So they're a double dipper. So they're bringing the buyer and selling for the seller. It's a conflict of interest. It's a huge conflict of interest. But they're double dipping. The home sellers say the brokerages collaborated with NAR to enforce what is called the cooperative compensation rule. But under the verdict, the sellers would no longer be required to pay their buyers' agents, and agents would be free to set their own commission rates, which could be slashed in half or less. For example, a home seller with a $1 million home can now pay as much as $60,000 in agent commissions, 30 to the agent and 30,000 to the buyer's agent. NAR, alongside Keller Williams Anywhere, which is formerly Realogy, never heard of them, Realogy, Remax, and Home Services of America, had been on trial in Kansas City in an antitrust suit brought by nearly 500,000 Missouri home sellers. Wow. That's big, folks. The home sellers asks for damages of $1.7 billion before heading to trial. And both RE/MAX and Anywhere Real Estate opted to settle. They were the smart people. They opted to settle before they went to court. With RE/MAX paying $55 million and Anywhere Real Estate, whose subsidiaries include Coldwell Banker, Century 21 Real Estate, and Sotheby's International Realtor, paying $83.5 million in damages. Yeah. So, but NAR, as well as Keller Williams and Home Services, headed to trial, and on Tuesday morning, after deliberating for less than 3 hours, an 8-person jury delivered the verdict. Yes, there had been a conspiracy, and not only would the defendants be required to pay damages, but those damages could triple. The Chicago-based NAR is the largest professional organization in the United States. It has more than $1 billion in assets and owns the trademark to the word, quote-unquote, realtor, making the real estate agent's ability to buy and sell homes contingent upon the payment of membership dues in much of the country. That's true, folks. And those membership dues don't stay the same every year. They go up. So, on behalf of the people that sell homes, they are required to pay this fee, which is somewhat exorbitant these days. NAR said it plans to appeal the verdict. And in an internal memo sent to some members on Tuesday and obtained by the New York Times, the current NAR president, Tracy Casper, wrote, "We remain confident we will ultimately prevail." Yeah, you're going to continue to prevail, but you're not going to win this one. I'll tell you right now. You are not going to win this one. More people are going to come forward. Now that this lawsuit has been settled, there are millions of people across the United States that have paid exorbitant realtor fees. I was one of them in New Jersey. I paid $27,000. Yeah, $27,000 to the buyer and seller. My seller was phenomenal. I have no trouble paying my seller. But the buyer's agent? The buyers? Why should I have to do that? That gave my buyer a discount on my property, even more of a discount that he actually got. But we won't go there. That's a story for another day. So that's number one on the list, the realtor lawsuit. I just want to say that not a creature was stirring this morning, not even a feral dog. But that's the way they do it. It's called trauma-based mind control. What they do is they employ trauma upon the victim repeatedly. They want to log my brain experiencing anger, fear, whatever it is that they're trying to map in my brain. Harass me with the local criminal perpetrators, the neighbors, dog abusers. But I called yesterday the sheriff's department after I called the dog catcher. The dog catcher's phone was not accepting phone calls. I don't believe it was just me. He was out catching dogs. Okay, but there was no voicemail for me to leave a message. There's not been a voicemail for me to leave a message since August. So I called the sheriff's department because they usually have the ability to contact the dog catcher. So they called me back, the nice dispatch woman, and she said, well, the sheriff wanted me to give you a message that you can file a complaint against the neighbors. All you have to do is go into town, file the complaint with the county clerk's office, and then filing it with our county lawyer. Ross Murray, the one I filed a complaint with the Attorney General about. Yeah, the one who he did not allow me to obtain a restraining order against my neighbors for shooting bullet holes through my no trespassing sign, killing a cat, trespassing my property, posting no trespassing signs on my property, and tearing down a newly installed gate, threatening a worker on my property with a loaded weapon. I'm going to go to the county lawyer and file a complaint against my neighbors for dogs on the run? You're kidding me. So I called back and I said, could you please give the sheriff a message? It's not my responsibility to do his job. It's only my responsibility to report what's going on here. The neighbors have violated the law. And it's your responsibility and or the dog catcher, a peace officer or the dog catcher, to apprehend, seize the dogs. So no, I'm not going to file a complaint with the county lawyer. He's a criminal. Why would I do that? And you need to be doing your job. And they said, okay, well, we'll call the dog catcher again. Yeah, you do that. Those dogs better be gone. So what I did, folks, because when I get my knickers in a knot, I like to write letters. So here we go. Okay, so I went to the website here. Let me show you, because you too can connect with Senator Rand Paul. Here he is. You click on connect here, and you've got a form to fill out here. And what I love about sending him a complaint is that I receive a response. An automatic generated response that he received my complaint. So, here's my complaint. I'm going to read it to you, folks. November 2nd, 2023. Dear Senator Paul, I am writing as a follow-up to the last message in August 2023 on the topic of neighbor dogs at large killing livestock. Nothing has changed, and it appears as if the matter has increased in incidences killing and harming additional livestock. There needs to be stricter laws with consequences holding the owner accountable. The owners should be immediately fined and dogs confiscated according to Kentucky law. Each time neighbor dogs have trespassed, there have been no identifying tags. There are no ownership tags. There are no rabies tags. There are no collars demonstrating ownership required by Kentucky 258.215, seizure, impounding, and destruction of dog lacking rabies tag or other identification. Peace officers, which are the police, right? Peace officers, the police, the cop, or animal control officers shall seize and impound any dog which does not bear a valid rabies tag or other legible identification, which is found running at large. Any dog which an officer or animal control officer seizes shall be impounded in the designated animal shelter of the county and confined in a humane manner. If, after a reasonable effort, the seizure of an unrestrained dog cannot be made, or the dog presents a hazard to public safety or property, or has an injury or physical condition which causes the dog to suffer, the animal control officer or peace officer may immediately destroy the dog by the most reasonable and humane means then available. And just for the record, folks, you can see a couple of my previous videos with the neighbor's dog chasing me down the county road while I was cleaning up my property. Dog had no collar, no rabies tag. You can also see the other video of the German Shepherd dog eating my hen with no identifying information on the collar, no leash, no nothing. So that's a minimum of 2 videos with no identifying information. They are also endangering their own dogs and are irresponsible pet owners. It appears as if the dogs are malnourished, bark often, and wandering the county road, endangering drivers, others, and themselves. They are a danger to pedestrians, pets, livestock, and drivers. It is traumatic to the animals. In every instance, when I have applied for homeowners insurance, there is always a question about whether or not I own a dog. If I did own a dog, The breed of the dog is needed by the insurance company. When I lived in New Jersey, there were very strict laws about dogs running loose. If a dog was found running loose and an owner was not immediately discovered, it would be taken to the pound. And if the owner wanted the dog returned, they would be fined and have to pay a shelter fee. Here in Kentucky, dogs run wild down the county road. I was cleaning my property, and one of the same neighbor's dogs ran out of their yard and chased me down the county road. This is unacceptable. I have contacted the dog catcher since August, and nothing has been done. No one has confiscated the dogs according to Kentucky law. I have left several messages with the sheriff's department. According to Kentucky law, a peace officer or dog catcher may confiscate the dogs. It appears as if the local government allows this to happen because they're all buddies. This is unacceptable. There should be no biases in the law. The law should apply to everyone and not just a few. I am seeking your assistance in supporting stricter dog leash laws. It should be stated that if the dog is quote-unquote at large running wild on somebody else's property and destroys livestock, they should immediately pay restitution for the cost of that livestock. They should also be fined for allowing their dogs to run loose, endangering others. Unless there are consequences to any law that is enacted, it will be violated and behaviors persist. Thank you for your consideration in this matter. Lorraine Valenti. I gave my address and my phone number. Okay, that's the first letter. Here is the form, which actually you can connect here. Let me show you how this works. So you can write to him about pretty much anything. So you have the legislative issue here. You click on the drop down. So there's these topics here, and then I'll scroll down. You can see some more. And then you just write in the subject heading what you are writing about, because even though he has all of these options, it doesn't explain everything that you might be writing about. So I just wanted to quickly tell you that I was looking online yesterday. You know, somebody said, go to the Homeland Security, counterterrorism, whatever, in each state and see what they have to say. So I went to mine here in Kentucky. The Kentucky Office of Homeland Security Commonwealth Strategic Plan. Now, I'm not reading the whole strategic plan. I just like to read about the core values. Okay, I'm just going to read this. Don't shoot the messenger here. These are the core values. Honor. We will conduct ourselves in the highest ethical manner in all relationships with peers, superiors, and subordinates. To our Commonwealth, we represent the Governor of Kentucky and are responsible for the execution of their Homeland Security initiatives. That's a key word, initiatives. We will maintain the highest ethical and professional standards while remaining mindful of the privilege to serve our fellow Kentuckians. Vigilance. We will continually strengthen existing preparedness partnerships while working to develop new partnerships that will promote a ready and prepared Kentucky. As an office, we will be persistent. We will be persistent in the identification, investigation, and deterrence of threats that pose a danger to our Commonwealth and its citizens and guests. Okay. I'm not going to comment on that one, folks. Use your imagination, targeted folks. Service. Each of us has a commitment and dedication to the Commonwealth that is far greater than to ourselves. At all times, we will display the utmost integrity while realizing that our own needs are secondary to the needs of our great Commonwealth. Those are the core values. So I like to look at the core values and the mission, which is, I'm only going to read the first paragraph. Oh, the strategic. Okay, it's usually a small paragraph. So here it is. The Kentucky Office of Homeland Security is Kentucky's, excuse me, strategic center of gravity for the accumulation and dissemination of critical information through collaborative efforts with local, state, federal, and private sector partnerships, which provides relevant and timely intelligence, executive advisement, and resource allocations for the preparation, prevention, response, recovery of all hazards or incidents that affect the safety, security, and the health of the Commonwealth. It's a mouthful. Yeah. That's really interesting. Sounds very hypocritical to me. You working with the governor to target citizens of Kentucky, innocent people? Yeah, like I know at least 5 women in Kentucky that are being targeted, that are being harassed, that are being tormented, that are being asset stripped. Good job, Homeland Security. Oh, yeah, I forgot you work with those fusion centers. That's one of your partners. Right, that's one of those collaborative efforts. Oh, and with the local people, the private sector partnerships, federal, state, like InfraGard, the fusion centers, community-based agents, neighborhood snitches. Got it. Thanks. Thanks for putting it in writing. We love evidence. Next. So, I received an email from a targeted person, and I've heard about this company before. And I thought it was just, I wasn't sure if it was like a joke, but actually, let me show you folks. It's got an A rating at the Better Business Bureau. It's a little disturbing. It's called Nefarious Jobs. It's nefariousjobsmaine.com. I'll read it because it's hard to read it. Nefarious Jobs is the best revenge for higher service in the world. It's the best revenge for higher service in the world. Okay, so they've got nefarious jobs, and one of their jobs is called the Reputation Shredder. They will hire somebody will hire somebody to destroy somebody's reputation for revenge. It doesn't matter if it's warranted. It just means that somebody in a position of power that has the money to pay, can destroy another person. How is this legal? I'm curious how this is legal. So I decided to write another letter to my favorite senator. November 2nd, 2023. Dear Senator Paul, I applaud your courage in speaking out against the FBI Director Wray at the Senate hearing. They are an embarrassment to the United States. They turned into an organized crime network. They are human trafficking innocent people for profit via the terrorist watch list. I am one of them, targeted since 2012 in Manalapan, New Jersey, a home I lived in for 30 years as original owner. Life has been a nightmare. There's another serious matter that may be related to people being placed on the FBI watch list, the non-investigative subjects. That list is shared with various partners, private contractors, local community members, InfraGard, and secret societies, etc. There is a website called Nefarious Jobs. They advertise how they will destroy, annihilate, get rid of your competition, someone you're angry with, and want revenge upon the individual. They are offering a special price of $2,500 discount. How is this legal? How is it legal to advertise on the internet to hire individuals to place a hit on an individual? Isn't this considered premeditated murder? Isn't this a conspiracy to commit crimes against a person? This is a very serious matter that should be brought to the attention of other Senate members. While the website is not specifically targeting Kentuckians, it is targeting anyone that wants to hire their services to, quote unquote, get rid of someone. The recent email forwarded to me is entitled, quote, Total Annihilation, unquote. The most devastating package is now available for only the most special people who have caused you harm, anger, and pain. We have a limited number of packages available that have been cleared for $2,500 discount with 50% down, the remainder after proof of action and proof of concept. This signature package has not been this lowly priced in years and may not be for another 7. Completely destroy your enemies now. Email us at nefariousjobs@contractor.net. Here is a link to the website so you can see for yourself. I hope that you are as alarmed at viewing this as I am. It is highly likely that people hired to work to, quote, annihilate a person are harming innocent people and possibly those on the FBI watch list. I am bringing this company to your attention to perform additional research necessary to dismantle this company and expose the people who are committing these crimes. There needs to be a deep dive into the types of people employed by this business. I also wonder how much of it is a cash business, under the table, so there's no paper trail. Are they paying taxes? Thank you again for always being the voice of reason. Sincerely, Lorraine Valente. So that's what happens when I get angry, folks. I get busy writing letters. And then I file lawsuits. And then when I get really pissed off, I file a lawsuit. It's extremely tedious and time-consuming. And I'm going to read a portion that Senator Paul wrote in his book, Government Bullies. Where are our heroes today? We speak often of those who fight for our freedom overseas, and we should. There are many sacrifices made by our men and women in the military who spread the flame of freedom around the world. Thanks to them, America has been a beacon of liberty and a grand example of freedom for all over the world for 236 years. Our founding fathers spent and often gave their lives to build a new country where men could truly be free, a nation where the rights granted to us by our Creator could not be trampled on or taken by government. Unfortunately, this is what government too often tries to do. When it does, what exactly can an ordinary citizen do to fight back? Too often, the threat of a long, expensive, and exhausting battle against one's own government is enough to stop anyone in their tracks. And then he goes into a story about a man that was not stopped in his tracks. And I'll leave it at that. I also wanted to discuss another topic. I really hadn't thought about it. Because I don't have a son. I don't have a draft age child. So I looked it up today. And this was actually after watching a YouTube video of a creator that I really like. His name is Rob. And he's the magic prepper. Here he is. He's really cool. He's highly intelligent. He is very progressive. He brings topics to the fore that before anybody else. He's probably the best dressed prepper on the internet. That's for sure. But he discussed, what do you do if you get drafted for World War III? I highly recommend listening to this video if you are a man of draftable age, if you know of somebody that is, and even if you're not of draftable age, which I'll get into, they may extend the age. They may make it higher than it is. Okay, so here it is. Magic Prepper. What to do if you get drafted for World War III. He gives the pros and cons of doing pretty much everything. Things that I hadn't thought of. Excellent, excellent video. So then I went to military.com. Everything you need to know about the military draft. The Selective Service System, otherwise known as the military draft or conscription, requires almost all male U.S. citizens and immigrants. This is curious. And immigrants ages 18 through 25 to register with the government. You may have seen the question, have you registered for the Selective Service on applications for jobs, driver's licenses, student aid, and more? But could you actually get called into the military? Here's everything you need to know about the draft. The military draft of 2023. Will there be a military draft in 2023? They're saying, now this is back in January. This article is from earlier in the year, okay? Things were a lot different earlier in the year. So they're saying that probably not. While world events such as the war in Ukraine and an increasing U.S. presence in Poland continue to evolve, there has been no indication that a military draft will take place in 2023. Okay, but I'm going to say we're in November already, folks. 2023 is only another month and a half away. 2024 is quickly approaching. So this is answering the question about a draft in 2023. It's not mentioning 2024. Just what is the draft and why must you register? The draft, officially known as the Selective Service, is a government bureau separate from the Defense Department, whose mission statement is, quote, to register men and maintain a system that, when authorized by the President and Congress, rapidly provides personnel in a fair and equitable manner while managing an alternative service program for conscientious objectors, unquote. That's an interesting choice of words. Basically, this means that if we ever have a national emergency or war that the all-volunteer military can't adequately support, because we've got a volunteer military, Congress and the President can reinstate the draft and force male citizens to serve in the military. While women have not been excluded from combat since 2013, they currently are not required to register for the draft. The law as it's written now refers specifically to male persons in stating who must register and who would be drafted. And I just want to state for the record, I heard yesterday that male is defined as someone who is born male at birth. It doesn't matter what they decided to do when they're 12 or 13 or 20 or 30, whatever it is. It's what they were assigned at birth. Okay? I'm not going to get into that. It's off topic for me here. Well, okay, so the law as it is written now refers specifically to male persons in stating who must register and who would be drafted. For women to be required to register with the Selective Service, Congress would have to change the law. Okay, so that's pretty big deal for Congress to change the law. So what happens if you don't register for the draft? Well, legally, you could be in a lot of trouble if you don't register. It's a felony. However, no one has been prosecuted for the crime since 1986, but that doesn't mean you won't have problems. If you fail to register for the draft by the time you turn 26, you're no longer able to do so. I think they'll end up changing that, but I don't know. Then, if you apply for any government benefits at any time after that, you quite possibly will be denied. No student aid, meaning student loans, no government job, etc. Government statistics suggest that more than 1 million men have been denied some government benefits because they weren't registered for the draft. An appeal to get those benefits can be costly and time-consuming. And in 2017, the Selective Service system turned over nearly 200,000 names and addresses of people who had failed to register for the draft to the Department of Justice for computer matching. Oh, I'm sure they can do a lot better job now than in 2017. Right, targeted folks? So, they can make it very easy for you to register. Like the old Uncle Sam poster says, they want you. You can register online, go to the post office, many high schools, when you get your driver's license, or returning the card that comes in the mail around your 18th birthday. The law says that men must register with the Selective Service within 30 days of turning 18. I'm learning. This is new to me, folks. I didn't know this. The law says that men must register with the Selective Service within 30 days of turning 18. Well, I guess some of my perpetrators around here are going to be going to war. But you know what? They're very well equipped. They already know how to use a firearm. They know how to bully, and they're angry as hell. They'll do just fine in the military. Several groups are exempt from registering, such as those currently on active duty, some disabled persons, and those who are incarcerated. Oh my goodness. Conscientious objectors are required to register. A conscientious objector is one who is opposed to serving in the armed forces and or bearing arms on the grounds of moral or religious principles. If you served active duty and were discharged before your 26th birthday, you still have to register. Okay, so I'm going to stop there on that topic. You could go to a Magic Prepper and watch that last video. He really explains it quite well. He explains the pros and cons of making all of the choices that you would with regard to this issue. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to give you an update on these many topics. And I want to thank people for privately sending me links and stuff. I have to tell you, though, there are some links that people send me I don't really have an interest in. I'm trying to keep my vibration as high as possible. I know that there's a lot of nefarious things going on in the world. It's hard to ignore. But I have a lot of SHIT going on here that I'm dealing with. A lot more than what I'm seeing other people deal with. What's going on here is just an atrocity. Okay? So I'm trying to keep my vibration up as high as possible and being as joyful as possible, which is almost an impossibility. I am not going to be bombarded with, these emails about, how we're all going to go to FEMA camps. Okay? We don't need to be deep diving into that possibility, although obviously it is. I'm not going to wrap my brain around that every day, okay? There's a lot more stuff going on here. So anyway, because what's happening to me or other targeted people will eventually happen to everyone. We're just the guinea pigs. We're just the guinea pigs. I use the example in response to somebody that, because I'm older than a lot of you guys. So like when I was growing up, like organized crime literally was the mafia. You know, the guys in the gorgeous suits, and they're well-mannered, and they're wearing the little pinky finger, and, you know, ring, and owning restaurants and stuff. I didn't know them to be targeting children and women, even though they were considered to be organized crime. They were more selective about their targets back in the day. There were some morals and decency about them. Okay? Most of those guys don't exist anymore. They're in the 70s, 80s, 90s, have passed away. Some may still be incarcerated. But they had different ethics than these criminals today. Okay? But even then, back then, what they would do is, you know, the big guys, they wouldn't get their hands dirty. They had their, they call them soldiers. You know, sort of like the fusion centers have their community-based agents and informants. The human sources. What are confidential human sources? Oh yeah, wrap your mind around that language. But what they would do systematically is, you know, those soldiers, they would carry out the orders and stuff. They do some nasty stuff to people. They would literally get a hit on people, take somebody out, just like nefarious jobs. But then what would happen? Those soldiers, they all knew way too much. They could snitch, they could rat, they could really get everybody in trouble. So I'm not going to actually say what they would do, but you get my drift, right? They would unalive them. I firmly believe that many of our perpetrators will be unalived. So I'm not worried about all of the other things that you're mentioning, because if it's happening to me, it's going to happen to them too. They're going to have to get rid of the evidence. And that's the evidence. They're the evidence. They sold their soul to the devil. And most people higher up, they're just going to want to get rid of them. Plus, you think they're going to get paid? I actually heard, now don't quote me on this, I don't know if it's true, I don't have any insider information, that the budget, that with this war and stuff, that some of these people are not going to be getting paid. I don't know if that's true or not. I know that the contracts have recently been renewed, meaning, I think it was, what was it, the end of October or October 1st, there was a new group of people coming on board, like across the United States. You know, like the old group is gone, they've got a new group coming in. That's why they're amping everything up, but you just don't know how long these people are going to be paid. And let's see, when payment stops for them, how they respond. But anyway, please hit the thumbs up. Like it. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for all your questions and comments. I have no control over the comments section other than if your comment is removed by someone other than me, what happens is I don't receive a copy of it anywhere. It's not in my creator studio. It's not in my email. It's nowhere. So some of your comments disappeared. I had one person email me last night with 2 comments she left that disappeared. I posted them for her. To the best of my knowledge, they're still there because I posted them. It could be because you're targeted too. You're being tracked too. And maybe they don't want your comments listed, posted. So it might not have anything to do with me, my channel, my comment section, other than that, the fact that you're targeted too. You're being monitored just the way things disappear from my laptop. Things are going to disappear from your computers. I have no control over it. But you can email me. Just name the video that you posted it under and send it to me, and I will post it on your behalf. There is one person that sent them both to me, and they were already posted there. You're just not seeing them. You just need to refresh the screen. You need to go back, and there are 2 different methods of viewing the comments section. You hit those 3 little dots, and it drops down the newest, the newest ones. And usually if you click on newest, you'll get the whole list of comments. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. I've got to get some work done here. The sun is out. It looks like the wind died down. So thank you all for subscribing and for commenting, and I will talk to you soon.